All right, how y'all going? Yeah, I play with some new toys. Software got a little bit of an update. Happy 4th of July to everybody. And the way I celebrate here at the Clack Shack is I try to get some jobs done while I got a day off of work. So I had an order come in yesterday, and that's what we're going to be working on today. And we'll give it a few minutes for see if anybody's going to show up. I know it was last minute, guys, but my week's been kind of hectic. And I'm trying to get back out here and get some stuff turned out. I've got a local business that's reached out to me wanting some tumblers and some hat patches and other things. And so they've sent me their logo. And when you start doing this stuff and trying to do it as a side hustle, that's one of the biggest problems you run into is when people send you images, you have to, oh, I didn't know you dropped it 2 minutes ago. I was busy getting my stuff ready. Well, y'all can go watch Steve's video in a minute. But one of the biggest obstacles that I run into is when they send me their graphics, a lot of times it's not what we'd like to have for lasering. And so I'm fixing to download. I've already downloaded the image from the email, so y'all didn't see their email address. And we're going to take that thing, we'll throw it in LightBurn, see if there's a lot of tweaking that needs to be done to it. It definitely was not, the logo was not ideal for what we're trying to do with it, being putting it on a hat and putting it on tumblers. And you'll see what I'm talking about in just a second. So let's get started because, like I said, I was fixing to do this anyway for this customer, and I figured y'all always asking about it, so I figured I'd show you. So I'm gonna get you down here on the screen below, and we're just gonna get started. See how this goes. See how many mistakes we have to make to get it right. So going in LightBurn, and that's where I do most of my editing. I'm gonna probably end up engraving this. No, not yet. Engraving this on the P2 because it's leather and I've gotten to where I like the P2 for leather. But we're just going to start here to see what we can do with this design. Well, where's it at? There it is. All right, so this is this is what they sent me. And as you can see, not exactly ideal because it's kind of short and wide. I like them when they're a 1-to-1 ratio, whether it be square or circle. But that's what we got to work with today. I think it's going to be okay. It's just the proportions are a little messed up. And yeah, I could try to stretch it, but you know, that just it doesn't look the same. So we're gonna leave it as is and just we'll burn up a couple of test burns just to make sure I get all the lines. But we'll see how well it traces. I asked them to send it to me in a PNG or a TIF, and we got it a TIF, so it should be pretty easy for LightBurn to trace. I don't see any issues. See if Sketch makes it any different. Sketch is adding a few lines. Okay, I think I like it better without the sketch. Yeah, it did a pretty good job of tracing it, so we'll see how that goes. I'm gonna go ahead and click this little button here so it deletes the original so we can see what it looks like. And I mean, I think it did a pretty good job of translating it over. It's not exactly, it's more of a hand-drawn type text. So I think what I'm going to do now is just try to burn this with the X40 on some wood to send to them, on some cheap wood, and then we're going to move over to trying to get the patch laid out. So let me get this started on the X40 here. All right, so I got a little small piece of material in there. Should be adequate to do what we need to do. Go ahead and home the machine. Move it over to my park location so that I can take a picture. I'm sorry about that. That clicking. That's the little louvers in there that pull the outside area. But hopefully we'll be through with this part of the process here in just a second. So I'm going to burn this, but I'm also going to cut it out. So I'm going to use the offset tool and offset it. Why is it? Come on, LightBurn. Maybe I did need to update. Maybe this is their way of making me take that update. I didn't want to 20. All these little tiny artifacts in this thing are going to make it slow because of the offset. So probably just need to cancel that and weld all this stuff together. See if it'll slow it down a little bit. Okay, just let me out of here. Yeah, anytime you get a lot of these little, now it's done got slow. Anytime you get a lot of these little fine details, for some reason, this offset tool, it throws it a loop. Even though I got outer shapes only, I don't get it why it does that, but whatever. So hopefully it'll respond here in a second and we can move on. There we go. All right, so, oh, it didn't stay. Offset. I'm just gonna go with the 20 and resize the darn thing. I may need that update. So we'll just let it, we'll give it a second and let it do its thing. All right, good enough. Come on. Gather yourself together here. Mm. All right, LightBurn's been a little stubborn. We're gonna give it a minute. Check the Steve, I will tell you, first hour analytics actually don't matter. I dropped a video last night at almost level 11 o'clock. Yeah, it's just one of those things. But y'all can go watch it if you want and watch the replay on mine. It's all the same to me. I find that most of my views happen at the specific time of the day, regardless of what time the video comes out. All right, so I just resize that way. That way we can move along with this operation and quit fooling with that offset tool. But we'll go ahead and move this up to the corner in case I want to do another one. And we're going to send that over to the item stack, let it run that. And hopefully I didn't even check my layers. Yeah, 150, it's going to be dark, but it'll be okay. So now I've got to make that into a hat patch also. And we're going to export that. Once I get it made into a hat patch, we're going to export that over into XCS to cut it out on the P2. Now, I will tell you that with these hat patches, 300 on the width is about as, or not 300. Stand by, let me grab a ruler. My brain's not working today. 100 is about as wide as I like to make a hat patch, which is what I think is going to make this a little difficult to do possibly with the CO2. So I'm just going to go over here and I'm going to resize this to 100 wide. And we'll work with this. So now what I've got to do, in order to be able to sew this onto a hat, because this is going to be real cowhide, this isn't a peel and stick, I'm going to need some holes in it. And I'm going to make those little holes right there 2 millimeters. I'm going to bring those guys down here. And one thing that I need to know starting out is where is the origin point of this little guy right here. So it's here. So I really need to move that, or either I can just start right there. Let me just start right there. So hang on, let me find that mark again. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and right here, I'm going to zoom this guy in the middle of the screen so I can see it. I'm going to put my little 3 millimeter circle here. Or 2 millimeter. It made it really big. All right, so we'll set that guy right about there. That should be close to that starting point of that line. Yep. I'm gonna take that shape. I'm gonna change this to, let me duplicate it. I'm gonna change that one to a tool line. I'm gonna go ahead and hide the cut because I don't really, well, I'm gonna change that to a different color there. So go ahead and hide that other line. Take this guy, and I want to copy along the path. And in order to do this, I'm basically just going to keep adding them until I get a nice little spacing of about, I don't know, 3 millimeters. Three and a half. That'll be good. Oh, those holes look really big. Yeah, let's change the size of those. It's way too big. Way too big. We'll just do them one by one. Yep, that's about right. All right, take that line, offset that about 2.5 millimeters outward. We'll set that one to my cut. Turn my cut lines back on now. We get rid of that one, too close to the edge. I think that's gonna work. I will, before I run this on the leather, I do want to kind of look at it. So what I'm going to do is over here on this little piece that is cutting out, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just change all of this right here to lines. And I'm going to run that. That way I can kind of look at it and get a feel of how big it is. Whether the holes need to be smaller or bigger for the thread and all that kind of stuff. So that one actually needs to stay a tool line so it doesn't burn that. So we'll go ahead and just run that before I go over there and mess with the machine so we can look at it. Oh my goodness, somebody forgot to cut the other one off. My mind's still not 100% today, guys. All right, homed it. Let's run that now. No, it did not home. Hopefully this gives me an idea of what it's going to look like before I waste a piece of leather on it. We'll see how it goes. Well, Steve, if you'll look, I actually put out that I was going to do it at like 3:30. So technically, when I put out that I was going to do it, if you had just 2 minutes prior to that released a video, technically you released a video after I said that I was going live. So, just saying. Because it was 3:30 when I set this up because I had to have time to make the thumbnail. I had to have time to do all the other stuff. So, I don't know. I don't get as many days off as you do. And I've already had to go all the way to Prattville today. So, yeah, I'm not too sure I'm going to like the way this is going to look on the CO2. So, we're probably going to end up cutting the patches on the CO2 and then engraving them on the F1. See if I can get a little better detail. I'm curious what it'll do on leather too. Well, what's up, Dana? How are you? From South Texas. Let me make sure I hadn't missed any other comments. Uh, for some reason, sometimes they don't all show up. Yeah, they're not refreshing. Hindsight, that was probably a little slow for the 40 watt on that line. But it'll work for what I'm trying to figure out. I've already got while I'm waiting, I've already got the leather in there. So let me go over here. Go ahead and get xTool's Creative Space fired up. Take this little file right here. All right. So there's my leather. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring that image in while we're waiting. If it's not correct, I can always redo it, but I think it's gonna be fine. I just don't know about the size because I had to make it kind of short. So let's get back over here to the machine and see what our prototypes look like. All right, so this is going to be the size of the hat patch, and it's a little wider than I like for them to be. I like for them to, but under the circumstances, I don't know that there's much more I can do with that. So, unless they just want to put it on a square patch and not have it shaped like that, I like doing the shape patches better than I do doing just square, because if if you see a square patch these days, you're like, okay, peel and stick. But when you see one that's cut to this shape, then you know it's chances are it's not a peel and stick. But the definition, I'm afraid we're going to lose the definition on the engrave, but we're going to try it anyway. I got extra leather if I need it. I got a whole box. I order it and order bunches of it at a time. So I got all different colors. I even got some red, black. But yeah, this is the little cutout. So I got to sand it a little bit, but this size image, it did okay. But those little fine graphics in there didn't do too well when I shrunk it. But we're going to get down here to XCS and see what we can do. All right, so this part right here is going to be a little different because the way that it groups everything when it brings it in, I've kind of got to go in here and ungroup everything and get it to where I can assign these guys to different layers. So I'm gonna move that one to red. I like using red for my cut. This light blue here usually is my tool line, just like it is in LightBurn. And these, oh, it's not gonna let me. Oh my goodness. That's gonna take forever. So let's see if I can get lucky and get between here and here. Oh. All right. So let me go ahead and turn my layers over here. So where's my little visibility? Where's my little visibility thing? Oh, me. You know what? Let's see if they fix the DXF issues. Maybe it'll. take it back, put it back in its original format here with my multiple layers and try this. We'll resave it that way, see if that makes a difference. But I'm also going to go ahead and save it as a DXF, so maybe it'll come in with the layers. Because that way I ain't got to try to select all that stuff. All right, so let's just dump that. See what the SVG does. Where did it put it? Okay, okay. Did it stay in its layers? Maybe it did. Yes, it did. Okay, much better. Much better. All right, so black, I'm going to go over here, clicking in here, and I'm just going to try to see what they've got in here for leather. I don't know that they have leather. I think I may have put it in here. Let's see if I've got it in here still. Oh my goodness. Where are my settings? My stuff's not showing. Why is my stuff not showing? Okay, maybe it was the update. I'm not seeing any of my settings in here. Either I've lost my mind. Steve, am I missing something? Because did they not used to just be able to click here? Maybe it's the way I'm doing it. Not seeing. Oh, wait. Oh, there it is. There it is. Screen print. There, 2mm tooling. There we go. Red. I'm great. User defined. Okay, where did my darn material list go to? This is either my brain has just totally fried or I've lost it. Okay. Now these blues right here actually need to go to that red. So we'll move them over. Change that to a cut. Now it's showing up. Okay, cool. All right, so I got my cut set. Tool and leather. Got the engrave set. Tool and leather. Cyan needs to be turned off because that's just a tool line. Don't need that. All right, shoo. We're gonna put that right here. Take a close image. I'm gonna turn the X40 off so we're not using it and get rid of that noise. All right, so one thing that I do have to watch for with the P2 is these little clips that come with this honeycomb. I have had them get in the way, so I like to make sure on the cut it really it's not gonna shouldn't be in the way, but on this engrave you got to make sure that those guys aren't in the area of the processing. So, all right, I'm gonna go ahead because there's been this thing with LightBurn here lately, or not LightBurn, with XCS here lately, that it wants to burn each one of those little guys at one time. So, oh, that did not accomplish what I was wanting to accomplish. All right, so let's black. So we're gonna make that into a compound vector, which best I can tell, that all that really does is welds all these parts together so that it's not sitting here just trying to knock out the G, then the A, then the R, then the I, let's see if that works better. So we should be good to go. Go ahead and 2 millimeters, guys. We'll run it at 3 millimeters. Or heck, just measure it for me. All right, so fixing to hit this over to the P2, and we'll see how it turns out. We're either fixing to ruin some leather or make a hat patch, one of the two. Whew, I still think I'm probably gonna wind up doing it with the Ultra. I think I'm gonna end up just cutting the shape with the P2, uh, and then engraving it with the Ultra. I think that I might get a nicer look using the IR. I haven't tried the IR on this leather since I got the Ultra. So we'll see how that goes. See if this is going to be faster than the last patch I did. Yes, welding all those leathers together definitely helps because the last time I did leather, it took forever because of that. But I do think we're gonna have to run a little bit more power on the engrave. That's just my thoughts. Hey, just a question. Does my cup bother anybody? I had somebody complain that my cup was too noisy. What's up, Cody? How are you, sir? Happy 4th of July there to you, sir. Yeah, it's just I got some cutting boards I got to get done today. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stove covers that are on my board that I can work on. I got some machines I need to be checking, but I didn't want to do anything too extravagant today. So I had this order came in yesterday. So I figured I'd go ahead and see what their logos are going to do so that we could go ahead and figure out whether I need to change it or if they want me to take some of the graphics out of it or what they want me to do with it. But we'll try to make it work with their logo. But we'll see. Big old peek in the machine. Y'all can't. I would show you guys, but I don't have a camera in that one. Yeah, we're going to put some fire on that. That ain't nowhere near hot enough. So, what's everybody else got going on today? So, what's this video about, Steve? Let me go peek at your channel and see what your video's about, since you didn't tell me. Let's see what you got. Ventari's workshop. Let me see here. What we got? What we got going on? Hang on. Whoop. Thing got noisy cutting those little holes. So it's custom pin boxes, eh? So I guess that means you can take like the Clack Shack pin and put it in it. That's that project you showed me the other day. That's pretty cool. Yeah, y'all definitely need to go watch that. You can actually go over there right now and give it a thumbs up before you even watch it. That way you can go ahead and get the thumbs ups. Or you can just split screen us. But yeah. I guess I'll start calling Steve or texting Steve and be like, hey, think about doing a video today. You told me a messenger? Did you send me a messenger? Let's swap my messenger over. Told me a messenger. Oh yeah, so you did send me some messages earlier. Yeah, I've been kind of unplugged for the past few days, so I hadn't been checking messages, but every now and again. I've been ignoring everybody. Don't feel bad. The only person I've taken a phone call from has been my mama and work when I had to. So. All right, so the text is going to need a little more go at it. Looks like the cut's probably working, but we'll see. All right, so the cut speed looks like it was good, but the engrave, we're gonna have to lick that cat again, or cat. Oh my goodness. Well, no wonder no wonder it wasn't enough power. How did that happen? Power percent was at 1, speed was at 50. So there is no doubt that was not going to work. So I'm thinking 50% power. 200. Yeah, I think we'll go with 200. All right, so that's got that at 50% power, 200. And we're going to go ahead and turn the red back off. And we're just going to run just the graphic again without moving anything. I should probably run XCS a little more where I could get used to some of these little hang-ups. Yeah, sometimes I don't know why. I don't know what it does with my settings sometimes, Steve. But we'll see. We'll see how it is. JW said they're doing a. If I can, why is my chat not working right? And what in the world keeps disconnecting and reconnecting? JW said they're doing a workshop event on Saturday, kind of a F1 test event for the side customization to see how long the battery box will last. You got that a battery similar to what Steve's got, didn't you? The big one. And I guess that's the xTool, disconnecting and reconnecting. That hasn't been happening until I started running the xTool. But I'm running it on Wi-Fi. So I'm not sure. We'll see. But I've got to use something on my USB ports to turn it off and on. But what's up, 3D HP? How are you, sir? Let me go see if that's doing a little better job or if I've started to fire yet. Okay, from what I can tell from the sniff test, it's actually burning it this time. So I think we may actually have an engrave. So we'll pull that off there and see how it works out. And then I'm just gonna have to take them the patch. I'm gonna probably put the logo, a couple pieces of wood, take it to them, and see how that has got to be that P2 doing that. Okay. Yeah, disconnect, reconnect, disconnect, reconnect. What world? All right, let's go see what it looks like. All right, so I masked it really good. So that's what we got right now. I'm gonna go over here to the air compressor and I'm gonna blow as much of that off of there as I possibly can outside before we go touching it, because once you touch that, it'll get everywhere. The dust that comes off of this smells remarkably like the smell of being at the dentist and having to have your teeth drilled. It's not a pleasant smell. So I'm gonna wipe the edges with a dry cloth really well before I take my masking off. You can see I got a lot of it off of with the air. So I'm just gonna wipe that real good. There's really nothing you can do about the holes unless you really want to sit here with like a Q-tip or something and go through all those little tiny holes to get the soot out. And it'll end up getting on my thread, but it's just part of it. If you want real leather patches, that's part of it. Let's see here how this looks when I get this masking off of it here. So here we go. Gonna be a little weeding to be done for you crafters. Oh yeah, it'll be a lot of weeding. See if I can get lucky and just scuff it off. Now it's gonna take a minute. So far, so good though. The holes, you can see light through the holes. So that means all my little pieces dropped out. The cut came clean. Got a good engrave, light brown tab. Yeah, no, I'm not running a new software. They had, when I logged in a while ago, Restream was asking me if I wanted to try these new features. And I clicked the yes button to look at it because it said check out our new features. And I clicked the yes button and it applied it to my live. And I can't find the unapply button. So we're just rocking with it. I just changed the background to a color that I could deal with. Because it had like this rainbow effect behind me. And I didn't care for that. So luckily I'm able to take my utilitarian fingernails and just kind of scrape across here. And those little tiny pieces of the masking are actually falling off relatively easy. So that's good. And now I'm going to wipe the surface of the patch with the dry cloth. Try to avoid using anything wet because it seems like if you do, sometimes it makes more of a mess than it cleans up. So I try to use a dry cloth. But there are times where it's like, okay, we're just gonna even it out if nothing else, and I'll use a little bit of alcohol to even out the soot. Yep, this one's gonna require a little alcohol. So I'm just gonna wet my little cloth a little bit. There we go. Just gotta dry it now. One little piece of masking left on there. So let me grab my magic dryer. It dries leather patches, especially if you use alcohol. It dries them really fast. But you gotta watch for your fingers. Sup? How are you there, Robbie? Giglio? So there we go. If you can see that, not bad, not bad at all. It's still not 100% dried all the way through, but we got the soot off of it so that it can be dried a little better. I don't think that looks too bad. I mean, it's not too big for a hat, is it? I don't think I have a hat in here. Typically don't keep the hats in here because they get dirty, they get dusty. But there we go. How's that look? Can you see it? Okay. Yeah, there it goes. But yeah, that was about all I had going on. Other than I'm gonna make some. Probably gonna go ahead and do some bamboo boards. I may play around with the leather. You know, I could go ahead and see how I can do how well that does on the F1 Ultra. Hmm. We still got material in there. What if I can rip one out and engrave it on the Ultra right quick and see what that would look like? Let's do that. That sounds like fun. So let me go ahead and turn off. Let me get y'all down here where you can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to turn off the engrave and I'm going to turn on the cut. I'm going to update my camera view so that we can see where this guy came from. And I'm going to throw me another one out. And what I'm going to do this time is I'm just going to cut the outline out and then try to use the F1 Ultra to do the engrave and see how much different it looks using the IR versus the CO2, or I guess I could use the blue. Blue will do leather too. So I'm gonna go ahead and process that. Let's see if we get that connect disconnect thing. I think that's the P2 doing that. If it is xTool, y'all need to fix that because that's irritating. Because it hasn't done it since we quit running that job. So there we go. Let me go push that button. What's up, Woodworker Gene? How are you, sir? How are you? We'll dry this a little more. My magic dryer. Ah, this thing, best money I ever spent. All right. Having an issue with the D1 Pro, not getting any movement out of the laser head after moving to do an event. No movement, no movement. I mean, like on both axes, it's not moving because that's very odd if you don't have either axis moving. I mean, I would understand maybe you had a cable come loose or something if it was just one axis, but if it's not moving at all, that's odd. One thing you may want to check: make sure you didn't damage. If it's a is it a Pro? Yeah, make sure you didn't damage one of the limit switches because if it gets a signal from the limit switch, no matter which one it is, a lot of times it can cause a problem. What's up? What's up, Nathan? How are you, sir? Yeah, neither axis. That's unless like I said, unless you got a limit switch that's triggering it and causing it not to want to move. Like maybe you got a limit switch that either got broken or got bent or something. Which I think those use those proximities, so there shouldn't be anything to bend. All right, so we have a patch. So I've cut us a patch out. And now I'm going to copy this and I'm going to go ahead. This is one thing that I do like about the newer XCS. Let's see. So now I'm just going to copy that and I'm going to go over here and I'm going to add another canvas or another job to XCS. I'm going to leave this one open in case I want to cut some more patches out. And I'm going to go ahead and launch this one. Now I'm going to take this one and I'm going to connect it to the Ultra so that I can do the engraving on this patch. So that is much better than in the past with XCS because now I can run two machines on XCS at the same time technically, or at least be working with them. So let me get this over here and get it set up. All right, refresh. All right, so I'm gonna paste this in. And I'm going to drop that on top of that. All right, let me make sure, where's my layers at? Red, turn that off. Cyan, see, and that's another thing. You would think when you copy and paste it into the same software, these would stay off, but they didn't. So I got the output set on that one. Uh-oh, I don't have settings for leather in here. So let's see what they got. Laserable PU patch. I don't know that that's gonna work. Let's see if they actually do. They actually have real leather in here? So let me look. No. Nope, they do not. So it's gonna be a guessing game, guys. 20 watts of power, Galvo. Let me see here. Blue light. 100% power. So 20 watt. 2500. Turn the resolution up a bump. 60 want to do it bi-directional. All right, so let's see what happens here. Let me go ahead and frame this and just make sure the camera is not lying to me. I like doing bounds. Where's my bounds framing at here? There we go. All right, so that looks decent. And here we go. So I'll try to let you guys watch from here. Hopefully this thing, the camera, it looked like it was in there. And we'll see if my framing was correct. So there we go. And the one thing that I do think is that it'll be quicker to do the engrave on this machine than it is on the EO2. Yep, too fast though. So I want to slow that speed down, guys. We're gonna go to no, that may be too low. It's better not to go fast. It's better to go too fast than not fast enough. So we'll go with 500, and we'll see how that works. See if that does a little better job. Okay, I need to go turn my other fan on. Let's fix this. I've just got the pipe of that F1 Ultra is so much smaller than my 4-inch. I've just got it stuck up inside there, and I didn't have the assist fan turned on, so it was just blowing it up in the pipe and letting it come back out. And leather will definitely let you know if you have a exhaust system breach. So. I think I probably should have went 250. It's black, but I think it's just engraving the paper, the tape. It looks nice, but I think I just found the settings for green tape to make it black. I'll show you what I'm talking about. It's it's a little ridiculous. Oh, wait a minute. It's in the way. Hang on, let me move it and I just hit the undo button. Look at that. I found the perfect settings to get a black engrave on green painter's tape. So there you go, guys. But I don't think I don't think it did what it needed to do to the leather beneath. So we're gonna slow it down a little more. Oh, that's a lot more powerful. If that isn't engraving the leather, we got a problem. Because this actually making a lot of noise now. And it looks like I got a small candle in there. But we'll see how this one turns out. I do need to test the IR. IRs typically don't do a lot to organic materials, but might get lucky. I wonder if the IR would clean the soot off of it, though. Thing's loud. All right, so one thing is I'm getting a lot more curl in this machine, of course, because it's already cut out, so it's curling a little bit, which I think is messing with the focus. But it looks good on the masking. But I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm afraid of what the underside is gonna look. Let me go blow that soot off there with the air first. All right, dry rag, wiping the edges, and then of course wiping the front where the tape is, just to try to get as much of this black soot that gets everywhere off of it as I can. So we'll see if I'm going to be using the F1 to engrave them, or if I'm just going to do everything in the CO2. I was thinking maybe the F1 might do a better job because of that real fine detail that's in this logo. And if that's the case, I can just cut them out on it and engrave them over here. So we'll see. All right, so a little bit of cleanup, and that's what it looks like. Now for the moment of truth. Did we make it to engrave into the leather, or did I just engrave some frog tape? Let's see what happens. Oh, this design has got so many little tiny pieces. All right, gotta get my utility knife out again, aka my thumbnail. I don't know about you guys, but if I was gonna lose a fingernail and not get it back, I really would prefer to keep my thumbnails. I use those like scrapers and screwdrivers, and sometimes I use them as a pencil on wood. They're very handy. Oof. Well, I will say the F1 did not burn. It literally sliced the masking more so than what the P2 did. The P2 just kind of just like destroyed it. And the F1 Ultra actually, like there's a lot more little tiny pieces because it didn't just burn it away. So I guess that's a good sign, because that means I should have a little better detail in the actual engrave. All right, so now I'm going to wipe it down real good with the dry rag. Got a little bit of overburn on the cut over here. The P2. All right, so that's where we're at so far. I did get it to engrave, and you can actually tell that's actually an engrave. If you look just right, it's recessed in there. Looks pretty decent. Give me a little alcohol. giving them both the same treatment so we can kind of tell uh, if there's a difference in the detail or anything. Let's see, I still got a little stuff off of it. So, right. All right, so right hand, this one here came off of the F1 Ultra, and I did this one. Let's see if I can get them both in there. There we go. There we go. So yeah, I'm gonna go with. Would the customer notice a difference? No. Uh, either one would be very acceptable. I think the F1 Ultra was a little faster if we hadn't had to run 3 passes, but either one is highly usable. So there's 2 hat patches. I'll be basically with these. I don't know if I put it on a hat. I think I'm gonna just send them a picture because this is kind of freebies. They are bringing me some work, so there's that. But you know, hopefully they'll look at these and say yes, we want them on a hat, and then I can order whatever color hat they want and get these put on there. I don't know how many they're going to want. I'm hoping it's not too many because I hate sewing. I really hate sewing, and I sew these things by hand. If they order too many, I'm going to order me a machine to do it with. If I can make enough off the hats to pay for the machine, I'll just order the machine and call the job a break even so that I can have the machine in the future. So there you go. But they're actually one of the larger. It's a family-owned business here in town. It's out in the county, so it's not like in the city or anything like that. And they sell all kind of animal feeds and household supplies and stuff like that. And so it's pretty cool to get to work with them. And we'll find out if they like the the shape or if they want it on a square or round. Or I don't think round's going to be an option. A rectangle is probably about the only option I see. But if they don't like the shape of it, we can always do it differently. But I feel like by the time you put that on a hat, I feel like it's going to look okay. I may donate a hat to the cause just to get a look at it, but I hate to put it on there and it look bad. So we'll see. But yeah, but that's about all I had going on tonight, guys. Was trying to get this logo. I wanted to try to make the patches, and you guys are always asking about, how do you go about doing this? How do you go about doing that? What tools do you use? Which is your favorite machine and all that? Well, it depends on the job. I like designing in LightBurn because I'm more comfortable with it. Running the machines, some machines run better with LightBurn. Some machines run better with their native software. And the xTool machines, I will say, even though I love LightBurn and I like designing in it better, you lose some functionality with the machines in LightBurn. And for the most part, XCS works. It's a little bit clumsy to me because I'm used to LightBurn and trying to assign everything and make sure all my cut settings are right and everything. But for the most part, it works. And if you're new to lasers and you don't use any other kind of software, then you don't know anything different. Then learn this. You can do projects with it, and then if you want to learn to design in LightBurn later, you can. So, questions, comments, concerns, grumbles. Anybody want to test anything right quick before I go? Hang on. Be right back. Yeah, I ain't got to listen about my thing. Do you have a link to what machine you would order? I've done some research in the past, Jer. It's I can't. I had to look it up, but it's basically just a. It's more or less a pedal driven. It's like an old timey sewing machine, but it's made for leather. Uh, and I would have to. I'd have to go look it up and find it again. I don't do as many hats as I used to, and to be honest with you, uh, a lot of times I'll hand this down to other folks, like my buddy Klein or my buddy Bill. Once I get the bugs worked out, I get everything the way it's supposed to be. Uh, I could outsource it to them and just sell them the patches. So I make some money off of the cutting and designing of the patches, and then they can handle putting the hats together and get paid to do that. So a lot of times, especially if it's a really big order that I don't want to take time to fill, I'll hand that down to one of my apprentices, I guess you could say. Because they're wanting 20 tumblers too with this logo on them. They're 40-ounce tumblers, and they're supposed to be providing me the tumblers. But I told them that anytime somebody provides me with the tumblers that they're going to use, the caveat is I get one extra. And I told her, if I get lucky, because sometimes I do, I'm not going to lie, I do enough of this stuff that sometimes I'll put a tumbler in there and I'll guess at the settings and run it as if I'm running it for real. And if it works out, it looks great, then I'll rock with it. But if when I pull it off of the machine, if there's any leave or overburn or anything like that, that's when I'll go ahead and finish the tumbler out with some speed and power tests, and I'll just sacrifice it to the cause. But I try, and a lot of times I get lucky, I try to guess that first one, and if the logo looks good, then we're gold from there. But if there's any problem, if I see any problem with the engrave, it's turned into a test cup. They don't get that one back. Or if they do get it back, it's got a bunch of test grids all over it. And she agreed to it. So, I get it on Amazon. I think it's in my Amazon shop. Hang on, let me look. I just order it from Amazon. I do most everything from Amazon, guys, because I live out in the boonies. And so there's not any crafting stores. Like the closest thing to a crafting store we've got is Michael's and Hobby Lobby. And if you do get stuff there, it's like a 30-minute ride to get to a Michael's or a Hobby Lobby. So I just order it on Amazon. And if it costs me a little more than what I could get it somewhere else, I just, add that into my price. Because there's 1,000 people out there selling pilling sticks that they order online that have sticky stuff on the back of them. There's thousands of those people. I can't compete with those guys. But when they want real leather that you could literally make a purse or a holster or something out of, and they want it sewn on instead of just glued, because I do glue them. I put glue on here and glue it. But the glue, when I put it on there, I put the glue basically so that I can have a little bit of time to get it set to where it needs to be. I let that glue set, and once that glue hardens, then I go back and I sew them on. So you're not getting, I tried to take one of them off of a hat. You're not getting them off without ripping the hat or leaving part of the patch on the hat. So let me look back at my orders, and I'll give you the leather that I just used. I've tested a bunch of different ones, and I've tested different color, because, leather's one of those things. If I was going to give you any advice on leather, get your leather lighter than what you want it to be. Don't get it dark. Oh, wow, they're sold completely out. Good thing I loaded up. Huh. Well, it looks like, wait a minute. No, there they are. 12 by 24s. All right, 12 by 24. It looks like in the color that I normally get, they only have it. Yeah, looks like they're about sold out of it. And now this isn't veg tanned. This is actually oil tan leather. So some people will tell you don't engrave it. I will tell you, no matter what kind of leather you get or whatever somebody tells you is made out of, don't breathe the fumes off of it. Uh, I wouldn't really recommend breathing the fumes off anything you're laser engraving, personally. But it's just tool and leather that I'm getting, and leather is pretty much leather. You still have to do your homework, find your settings, and sometimes, just like with this one, guys, I had to run it 3 times because because XCS defaulted it to 1% power. But that's with leather, especially, it's better to go too light and don't touch anything than it is to go too hot and burn a hole through it. Because as long as you don't move it and your machine is consistent, which the F1 Ultra is, you can just send it again and it'll run over that same spot. So here's the 2 patches, and I know which one's which because one of them had a little overburn, but they've been sitting there for a little while and had a chance to dry. And it's hard to tell which one was done on the CO2 and which one was done on the blue diode. Haven't tried it with an IR. I wonder, y'all want to see if the IR actually even mark it? Let me, oh, I got to tape it up before I can cut another one. Who wants to see if the IR will even mark leather? Wait a minute. Let me just cut a little piece of that scrap off. That's a good idea. Be right back. Let me get my razor knife. So I cut a little corner off the scrap. I want to see what this IR will do, if anything, to this. And I learned a lesson a while ago using this after I've already cut them. So I'm going to go get some tape. All right. To the screen, guys. Over to the Ultra. Refresh. What if I cut it? All right, so let me save this as save as. I put my new folder all the way to the bottom. Why do you do that? All right, let's find some. Let's see if we can mark it with the fiber at all. I don't know that it will, but we're gonna try. So we're gonna go with the fiber. It's 20 watt. We'll go 100%. We'll start off at 1,000. See if we can leave a mark on this stuff. I know typically I haven't had a lot of luck with the com marker. Oh, I got some news when it comes to lasers too. Hang on. Yeah, typically organic materials, the IR is a no-go. Not even a mark. So let's slow that down and see what happens. Go to 250 since I know I ain't gonna light anything on fire. I tried, like I said, I try to go too hot or too fast, so not to start a fire. But it's weird to me that a laser, and it's all about the science of the light, but it's weird that this laser will etch metals, but it won't do nothing to leather or paper. Because typically they're not, unless there's some kind of chemical treatment in the material that laser interacts with, any kind of organic material. IR just doesn't do anything to it. It's making a shadow on it this go around. I'll show you what it looks like. All right, let me just down on the screen. So if I delete that and refresh the update, you'll be able to see what marking that did. Yeah, like literally it made a shadow. So we'll slow it on down. I'm gonna keep going down until I find at least determine that yes, we cannot mark it. So here we go. 100 millimeters a second, full power, using the IR module. In case something erupts in the flames, I'll let you guys watch. Oh, wait a minute. I got smoke. Guys, it may actually be working. Well, I'll be. It's actually engraving it. Now I had to slow down to 100, but it's actually making a mark. There's actually, you can see smoke. I don't know if y'all can or not, but you can see smoke going out the back. Huh. I might actually use that because it's not making a flame. Uh-oh, guys, we just made a breakthrough. We didn't get the flaming that I was getting with the blue diode. And I got a nice black engrave, and I'll show you. And there it is. So, no flaming, dark text, and really not any soot. Hmm. Oh, snap. All right. Now, while I got this in here, though, I need to come up with settings to get me through the masking. So let me go ahead and back up, taking my test out. And we're going to edit that text. Because we'll just do an X. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over here where I've got masking over the top of the material. So we just did that one at 100 millimeters a second. So I'm going to back it down to 75 to give it a little more ability to go through that masking, which, to be honest with you, the masking shouldn't be as difficult. But we'll see what it looks like with 75. Okay, so I got through the masking. It actually did engrave the leather. It's not as recessed, but it made a lot more smoke and soot inside the enclosure. So I'm going to be honest with you, the IR, there's barely any soot on it. I don't know what it did to it, but there's not any soot. Just to cut another one of these things out. So we're going to cut one. Can't see what. What can't you see? I think I'm late on that. But yeah, that's so it did it. But I'm fixing to cut one. I'm gonna cut another one out on the P2, and we will look and see how it comes up. We get some more masking. All right, to the P2, guys. Right there. All right, black is off. Red is on. Blue is off. So let me go ahead and rip us another one out where we can engrave another one on the F1. This time we're going to use the IR module without masking it in the F1 Ultra. See how that works out. So let me go hit that button. I'm a little impressed with the results that I got. It almost looks like it was pressed in, like, and painted. Let me clean this up with my rag. There's that disconnect again. There's the reconnect. Well, it did have some soot in the engrave. But I didn't blow it off with an air hose before I did this either. There's the disconnect again. And the reconnect. Yeah. xTool, you guys need to work on that. Hmm. Not bad. Not bad at all. Want to do this one to make sure I go through the same process, blow it off real good before I do everything. But I may have found me a new leather engraving machine, guys, because it's just clean. Hmm. should be about done with the cut. And see, that'll make my workflow a little better too, because I can cut a bunch of them out. A little snag on the corner of that one for some reason. Right near that edge. So we got it cut out. I'm gonna wipe it off real good to get rid of some of that soot. Well, let me blow it off first. All right, so now I'm gonna pull my masking off of it before I engrave it. And we're gonna do it with an IR. Let's see how well it works. All right, go set it up. All right. Where did you put it? Oh, why always in the top left corner? What in the world? What in the world happened there? Okay. All right, so red, change it not to output. Cyan, no output. Black, I want it to output. We'll go 100% power and 100 millimeters a second using the fiber. So I think we got it lined up pretty well. Maybe come down just a feel fuzz. There we go. Looks about right. Process. It's gonna be IR without any masking. So if I can get this to do a good job with an IR without masking, that'll be awesome. I got smoke. Huh. I sure did not know I'd be able to pull this off, because I've played around with the fibers before, and I mean, I guess probably because maybe I just didn't go slow enough. Oh, that's gonna look good. Yeah, that's gonna be the winner. Out of these two and that one, I think that one's gonna be the winner. We're gonna clean it up the right way, just to be sure. But it already looks better. So let me grab another bottle of water. So we'll be wrapping it up here in a minute, guys. But whatever you do, please go check out Steve's video when we get done. Let me go find a link to it. See, what Steve don't realize is while you guys were watching me, I've been like letting his play. So there's no telling how many watch hours he's got off of me so far. So here is the link to Steve's video. If it'll let me send it. Oh, that's not good. Is my chat not working at all? Oh, Restream, y'all done messed me up with this new thing. It won't even let me send the chat. I keep building up static for some reason. All right, so there it is straight off of the machine. That scorching around the top was from the CO2. So let me go blow this off. Oh, nope. The letters look awesome, but it's hit or miss. Yep. So we're going to have to stick with the blue or the CO2, guys. Yeah, it left off a bunch of the details. So that's wasted. Yeah. So moral of the story, that was garbage. And if you're going to do leather, use blue or CO2. Because if I go slower to try to get the IR to actually leave a mark, I'm going slower than I would if I used either the CO2 or the blue. So as I had thought, I thought I was wrong for a minute there, but as I thought, the CO2s, the blues, much better performance on leather. So, and see this one. Yeah, this one's the one we did on the F1 Ultra, and this is the one we did on the P2. So, not really a bit of difference in the two. The F1 Ultra, maybe not as much burning and a little more detail, but I mean, you're not going to be able to tell that just by looking at these patches. Like, it's very minimal difference in the two. So I've got two workable patches to show to the customer, and I got a piece of wood that I got to sand over there to show them, and get my hands on those tumblers. And if y'all are interested, want to get my hands on the tumblers, we'll try to do a video for that. I don't know if my text is anybody texting or commenting, because I'm not seeing anything in the chat. Like there's nothing showing up, and it won't let me send the chat. So y'all still with me? Yeah, I mean, maybe with the CO2, I'd have to play around. But the thing about this leather is it isn't cheap. And if I spend too much materials trying to get the perfect settings, the next piece of leather I get is going to be different. And I might have to spend 2 days trying to get the perfect settings. So once I find something that's workable, I'm going to go with it. Because literally, these other rolls of leather that I have in here, some of the settings, like here's some more, and you can see I do a lot of testing around the edges and so forth. This piece of leather is going to burn different than that piece of leather. It's going to burn different than that one and that one, and so, and these two. So that's the big difference. Hello. And I even tried some black and red. Yeah, didn't like it. Didn't like the results. But yeah. So, moral of the story, guys, CO2 and blue are better than the fiber for doing leather. And we've been on here for an hour and 37 minutes. So unless anybody's got any questions, comments, or concerns that we need to address immediately, I'm going to get out of here and go do some other stuff. But I appreciate y'all stopping in. Go check out Steve's video and watch it like 3 times. Just put it on. Just go to Steve's channel. Go to the video that he just put out and just loop that thing for the rest of the day. How about that? Just watch it over and over. But yeah, and don't forget Sunday Night Live. Me and Steve will be doing our live show as usual, and hopefully we can come up with some stuff to share with you guys. I did get some news. The Clack Shack will soon have a MOPA laser here. I had kind of hinted around about possibly getting one of the new Monport MOPAs sent to me, but I wasn't sure that they were going to do it because they wanted me to sign a contract. I took their contract, redone some things that I didn't like about it, sent it back to them, and told them that as long as this contract is acceptable, I will do it, but I took some stuff out, so read it before you accept it. And they emailed me back, and apparently they accepted my revised version of their contract, and they sent me an order confirmation that I've got a Monport fiber MOPA coming. It'll be the first MOPA in the shack, so really, really interested in playing around with that and seeing what that's like. But till next time, guys, y'all be safe and have a good day, and we'll see you. Go watch Steve's video like 2 or 3 times, over and over, and give it a thumbs up or thumbs down if you want to. But anyway, yeah, the D1 will do a good job. That's what I started doing my leather with, is the D1 Pro and the D1. So blue diodes and CO2s can do leather. Just tweak your settings, figure out your process, and have fun. That's what it's all about. So till next time.